All right. What's up, everybody? It's another episode of Dave's R&R Rambles and Reviews with your host here, Dave. And this is going to be an NFL-centered episode. It'll be about some injury news that took place today. And then we are going to have our early leans on the games on Christmas Day. Not the long slate of games Christmas Eve, but we have 3 games on Christmas Day this year on Sunday. So I'm going to put those leans in here. I'm just making sure I get out an episode before the holidays start. It's been crazy for everybody, so let's jump right into it here. So we have some big injury news on the day. The team's not really in it anymore, but it serves a lot of fantasy purposes for our teams. Jonathon Taylor is on the IR and his season is over. So this is going to be a little bit of rambling about fantasy football here because from a fantasy perspective, Jonathon Taylor was the default #1 pick of the year. Just about across the board, I'd say in at least 90% of leagues, he was the first overall pick after having an outstanding year last year. And with all the injuries this year, it's considered one of the biggest busts of all time in that #1 spot in fantasy football. Now, it's crazy to me, and I think it's a big lesson that all of us should learn going forward in fantasy football that you can't necessarily go off injuries of the past because it seems like anyone who took Christian McCaffrey, who's had a long list of injuries over his career, over Jonathon Taylor are the real winners because there's not a lot of teams that had Jonathon Taylor that are still left in the playoffs in fantasy football. So while it's sad news, he was such a great running back. He was a breakout star last year for many teams. It's sad to see him end the year. The Colts definitely came out on the disappointing end this year, and for fantasy owners, I know it's a big one. But let's take this lesson and carry it over next year into fantasy football. We can't look at past injuries anymore. There's going to be people who have been injured their whole career who stay healthy, and there's going to be people who have never even missed a practice that are going to get injured. So let's take this and move forward. I'm already out of all my leagues, so I'm looking forward to next year already. But that's some big news that came out today. One of the best running backs in the NFL out for the season. And now we do have a full slate of NFL games this weekend, Christmas weekend here, and for the first time in a long while, we have games on Christmas Day. We have 3 games that at the beginning of the season actually looked very solid on paper. But as we know now, these 3 games are pretty disappointing. I'm sure a lot of people might actually go tune into the NBA at this point because some of these are absolute stinkers. So we're going to jump right into it. Our 1 p.m. on the East Coast game, the Green Bay Packers at the Miami Dolphins. Right now the spread is at 4. The over-under is 49.5. This game is going to be my underdog pick of the day. I'm taking the Green Bay Packers at plus 170. The Dolphins are the better team across the board, but the Packers have the ability to beat anybody. They've had a very, very, very lackluster season. But Aaron Rodgers can still pull it out sometimes when needed. A lot of eyes will be on this game. The juice is at plus 170 in this one, so it is a big long shot here. But I'm taking the Packers to beat the Dolphins. It could be a game where Tua just drops the ball. He's been playing amazing all year, but we have seen from time to time he can have a very lackluster game. I'm essentially hoping that's worth plus 170 right there. So give me the Packers on the money line in that 1 p.m. game. So after you get that game, which should be relatively close in my opinion, we head to the 4:30 game, and it's the Broncos versus the Rams. At the beginning of the year, this game was highlighted. You had the Rams who were coming off their Super Bowl victory. You had Russell Wilson going to the Broncos, and at that time, a lot of people thought they could even be Super Bowl contenders. And both these teams out of the playoffs at this point. Neither team has done anything this year. The Rams, with the Cooper Kupp and Stafford injury, are onto their backup now, and the Broncos have just stunk all year. Their defense has been solid, but Russell Wilson can never get the ball rolling. Despite that being said, the spread is in the Broncos' favor here at -2. And over-under is 36.5 in this game. I do think this is going to be an under game, but I hate to bet on a spread that's that low. 36.5 is an incredibly low spread. It probably will hit, but I can't justifiably put money on a under 36.5. I'm actually going to take the Broncos to cover a spread here at -2. These two teams don't have much to play for at this time. And I mean, the Rams just on to the backup situation. I think the Broncos have a better shot in this one. And that takes us after a snooze fest. You can take your midday nap. Nighttime, 8:20 p.m., we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Arizona Cardinals. Another game that on paper looked amazing to start the year. The Cardinals were hoping to even be stronger than last year. The Buccaneers, with all the Brady drama, everyone was wondering how they were going to go. And the Buccaneers still in it. The Cardinals aren't at this point. And the only reason the Buccaneers are quite frankly in is because their division is terrible. So they'll probably end up winning that division, but I don't have high hopes for them in the playoffs. Buccaneers are 6.5-point favorites here on the road. The over/under is set to 41. Give me the Bucs to cover the spread as well, 6.5. A lot of eyes, I'm sure a lot of news outlets will be on Tom Brady because of the divorce, playing a game on Christmas that's usually for family time. But he's going to come out. I think he's going to be slinging it. He's going to be fired up for this one against the Cardinals. The Cardinals, again, eliminated. Kyler Murray's out for the season, not really playing for much. The motivation is a lot lower there. I think the Buccaneers can win this game by a touchdown. So the recap here, we are going with the Packers as a long shot at plus 170 at the Dolphins. We're taking the Broncos to cover the 2-point spread on the road against LA, and the Buccaneers to cover the spread on the road in Arizona at 6.5. And I just realized while I'm reading down at that, we're taking all road teams here, and that's usually a recipe for disaster. But it's Christmas Day, and you never know what's going to happen. You can follow or fade these picks at your own discretion. That's just my early leans. And we still have a couple of days left till Sunday. It's only Tuesday right now, so my mind may change between then, but honestly, these are the picks I'm leaning. Usually where I lean early, I end up sticking with. So Packers plus 170, Broncos minus 2, Tampa Bay Buccaneers minus 6.5. And that will conclude our NFL-centric episode here. I know we haven't really done NFL talk in a little bit, but I just want to get something quick out for all y'all folks listening in. Again, thank you for the support. I always appreciate it. Follow on Instagram and Twitter, Dave's R&R. We have Wrestling Wednesday officially starting tomorrow, where I'm going to be ranking my first wrestling match. I'm going to do one per week every single Wednesday, and we have an awesome one to start. The wheel selected AJ Styles versus John Cena, so stay tuned in for that review from Money in the Bank 2016. In the new year, hopefully we're going to start some food reviews. Hopefully we'll have some more movie reviews. I really want to review The Mean One, the Grinch kind of horror comedy movie that's come out, but I haven't been able to see it. It hasn't been in theaters around me, but hopefully I'll be able to get that review out sometime. There's a bunch of great movies coming out, so we'll just keep cranking out the episodes when we can. Again, thank you for all the support. Keep on downloading, keep on supporting. Have a great holiday week.